Hi friends, today we are going to discuss a wonderful poem, The Strange Affair by Robin S. Gangam. Before we analyze the poem in detail, let us have a very brief introduction to the poet. Robin S. Gangam, mark the pronunciation, it's Gangam, N is silent. Gangam is a renowned poet of northeast India. He was born in Imphal, Manipur. He studied literature at St. Edmund's College and the Northeastern Hill University in Shillong, where he now teaches English literature. Gangam has an insight into the major issues that have affected the people of Northeast India. The issues of freedom, sense of self, politics, and culture are some of the important topics to which Gangam gives his voice. Before going into the poem, let us look back to the shocking incident in the recent past of Northeast India that made a sensational news across the country. On July 15, 2005, the world woke up to some shocking images from Manipur. The images were of 12 naked, middle aged women carrying a white banner, Indian Army, Rape Us. The naked march of those women on road was a form of protest against the brutal rape, torture, mutilation, and murder of 32-year-old lady named Monorama by the 17th Assam Rifles, the oldest paramilitary force of the Indian Army. Monorama was picked up from her home in Imphal on July 10 on the pretext of an interrogation and under the assumption of being a militant. Her body was found the next day in a field 4 kilometers from her house. There were 16 bullets lodged into her genitals and several deep wounds and bullets throughout her body. This single incident reveals to us the enormity of oppression that the people of Manipur undergo in every walks of their lives. Manipur has been a place of several political disturbances since the day of the British rule. Before the independence of India, Manipur was a kingdom ruled by a series of kings. After the independence of India, Manipur became briefly independent. However, in 1949, the Maharaja of Manipur was forced to sign a merger agreement with the Union of India. As a result of the agreement, Manipur was to be governed by a chief commissioner appointed by the government of India. Finally, in 1972, Manipur became a separate state within India. During all this period, Manipur underwent several political turmoil, coercion, and oppression of all types. Ravines Gangam's The Strange Affair traces this bloody history of Manipur, unmasking the terror and politics that rule over the state. The poem portrays the internal colonization of Manipur and the exploitation of the state in the hands of other powerful states in India. Being a local resident of Manipur, Gangam has himself experienced the hardships which the people of Manipur or the whole of Northeast India witness every day. Gangam witnesses the pathetic incidents, socio-political disturbances, and paints the image with his power of imagination. Now, let us have a detailed analysis of the poem. A highly revealing poem, The Strange Affair, gradually traces the entire bloody history of Manipur, step by step looking at all those troublemaking factors that have reduced his folks to the present state of degeneration. It exhibits the dark forces that brood over the basic foundations of humanity and exposes the corruption and moral laxity. The poem is charged with emotional feeling of the homeland, but it cannot fail to bring the protestation, resentment of the terrible time, and the protection of homeland against all odds. The poet says that he has gone through the bloody incidents in his motherland and suffered this wheel of fire a number of times since his childhood. During all those hurly-burlies and uproar, he had to leave behind domestic comfort. And when he returned his homeland, he noticed that things had transformed him utterly. He had grown mature, earned much experiences, got established in life, but still he found himself in the same situation as before. As a boy, he was made a sheep, that is, was made to suffer uncomplainingly. And now he was treated by the townspeople as a goat, or a scapegoat. He was being welcomed with a marigold garland, but such kind of experience made him to see the irony behind it, as if he was being dragged into a sacred sacrifice. At the age of 24, the poet devoted himself completely to Bohemia, that is, the kingdom of art. Bohemia is an imaginary name coined by the poet to suggest the world of art. It remained his most amiable companion that offered him so much pleasure that nothing could put down his spirit. However, the crisis of his homeland and the suffering of its people always disturbed his mind. People sowed seeds in the field with fear and suspicion. When the disturbances occurred, the crops were destroyed. People's normal life, their small hopes, love, and dreams got stained with the bloody confusion raging everywhere. The poet says, "In the evenings now, I often mix my drink with despair. Love, of course, made me entirely useless. This is the story of my people. We sowed suspicion in the fields, hatred sprang and raised the crops." Poet's love life was also got injured. In the evenings, he used to mix his drink with despair. Doubts and fear gripped everybody's mind. People suspected each other's intentions. Love, pity, and sympathy all got smothered. Destructive forces are crushing people and all the traces of their culture and history, suppressing all forms of voices. The confused people boast of their tradition and at the same time kill each other in feuds. Corrupt and cunning people with malicious intent concoct false story to spread hatred, and people with short memory forget their past and get drunken with killing spree. Even on festive days, fear and hatred loom large. Young boys who escape their homes from Christmas, hiding their ways to escape the wrath of their enemies. These boys who dreamt of better future reach home with blood gushing out of their body. Hands filled with love, I touched your healing breast like the beaten up past. Scars appeared on your body. I ask, who branded the moonskin of my love? Who used you like a toy doll? And my hands returned to me, stigmatized with guilt. With intense expectation, the poet returns to his beloved to be united with her. The scarred body of his beloved reminds him of the terrible past murder, rape, and mutilation of all bodies. The moon like skin of the beloved is branded with scars. An utter sense of guilt grips the mind of the poet, and he flinches back from his beloved. The poet can hear the scream of the hills of his burning land. Its women all cry out the name of their motherland. Soldiers come by trucks carrying the appliances of death and devastation and crush its people. The graves of youths who die in turmoil are the only milestones to the city. Though the hills are veiled in mist, the poet can only inhale the foul smell of dynamite and funeral pyres. The warmonger ruffians invade the land with cargoes of sand and mortar, cut down the remaining trees, and carry them away like corpses, which are being carried off to a mortuary for dissection during the massacre. Morning papers repeat the same bloody stories and usual daily affairs: rape, extortion, ambushes, illegal occupation, blood feuds, and marriages. False ideologies are imposed upon people in the name of morality. A hypocritical culture is being publicized, where uprightness is not caressing anything publicly. Integrity is not drinking. Worthiness is not contributing generously to a new faith. Worthiness is contributing generously to a new faith to buy guns for waging ideological war. Service is milking the state and to start robbing each other. Chastity is forbidding our women from exposing their legs, and purity is not whispering even a solitary word of love. In the midst of all pervading uncertainty and confusion, the daily essentials are slowly becoming commodities: oil, lentils, potatoes, food for babies, even fire, water, and air. Patriotism is the only thing which is doled out freely by the state. The poet presents the grave irony inherent in the extravagant patriotic zeal being sponsored by the state. Patriotism, the poet says, is honoring martyrs who died in confusion. Patriotism is declaring we should preserve native customs and traditions, our literature and performing arts, and inflicting them on hapless peoples. Patriotism is admiring the youth who fondles grenades. Patriotism is proclaiming all men are brothers and secretly depriving my brother. Patriotism is playing the music of guns to the child in the womb. The poet says that when the patriotic fanaticism burned down all the lives, the silent hills, which have been a witness of all troubles, will speak for itself. The utter sense of loneliness is looming large. People who lost their loved ones now lie under the stars. The solitary poet says that if the confusion of his time has taught him anything, it is the ability to suffer, the ability to inflict the utmost hurt on the person you love most. There is nobody but the widows in the house who cannot light lamps anywhere anymore, even in the festival of lights. The poet thinks maybe the land is tired of being suckled on blood. Maybe there is no peace between the farmer and his fields. Maybe all men everywhere are tired of becoming men. Maybe we have finally acknowledged death. The most abominable thing is, the poet says, the law which punishes men for their past. But where can one run from the homeland? It is impossible for the poet to flee from his homeland, even though here people are being chased by pursuing prisons and are held with criminal wards. Gangom's strange affair thus makes an attempt to shed light into the darkest historical corners of Northeast India. What sets him apart is the way he expresses the issues. He has his own lyrical way of expressing his thoughts, which sets the fabric of his poetry that makes this poem different in some respects. He may not be one of the highly acclaimed poets, but the skills and the way he expresses the issues and the needs of his fellow companions in the Northeast India has made this poem worth reading and admiring. I end the discussion here. I hope my discussion has sparked a little interest in you on Gangom's poetry. Hope you will read the whole poem and enjoy it. It's a powerful poem, no doubt. Thank you, friends, for bearing with me so long. Goodbye.